So ever since 2018, there have been 8 different champions in the NBA. The Toronto Raptors won in 2019, the Los Angeles Lakers won in 2020, 2021 belonged to the Milwaukee Bucks, 2022 the Golden State Warriors, 23 the Denver Nuggets, 24 the Boston Celtics, 25 the Oklahoma City Thunder, and now 2026 will be decided starting on Wednesday between the New York Knicks and the San Antonio Spurs. Let's get straight to it. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to BoxInOne, a basketball podcast and content creation platform created by roischand and Joachim, myself talking right now. What a game 7. This is what you want from the NBA. When they say we've got a game 7 on the schedule, this is what you want. We've had a couple of dud game 7s in these NBA playoffs. Both of the Pistons game 7s were kind of lame. You had the Cavs smoking them, and then you had Detroit smoking the Magic. The Sixers and Celtics game 7 was pretty good, but nothing really felt as high stakes as the Western Conference Finals going to a game 7 for the first time since 2018, starting with the losing team. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, there's nothing to be ashamed of. You did show up as the back-to-back MVP tonight. 35 points, 12 of 21. He did everything he could absolutely do. You had McCain and Caruso both going for 12 points. You had Cason Wallace going for 17. The biggest story, though, for the Oklahoma City Thunder is obviously the Chet Holmgren disappearance. You have a guy who's supposed to be your number 2 option, no AJ Mitchell or Jalen Williams for the OKC Thunder in this game 7, but I think it's really interesting because Victor Wembanyama is maybe the worst possible matchup you could put on Chet Holmgren to slow him down. Chet is a big that utilizes his length really well to kind of hide the fact that he's not the most physical guy. I mean, this is a guy who missed an NBA season because he took a charge from LeBron James. Obviously, he's gotten stronger. He's gotten a lot more physical since then, but Chet is a guy who uses his length to deter other bigs who may be more physical. I mean, this is a guy in this playoffs who had 24, 12, and 3 block stat lines against DeAndre Ayton and Jackson Hayes anchored front courts. The issue with Victor Wembanyama is he's also a skinny guy who's stronger than he looks, but he's way longer than you. So it's so hard to get shots off and shot create on Victor Wembanyama. And we also just have to take into account the fact that Victor actually hates this dude. Victor Wembanyama, ever since losing that MVP in the under-17 tournament and being in a position where he came second to Chet, he said on record, there is not a comparison in playing style and player impact between me and Chet. He does not like this guy. Whatever narrative Wemby has told himself time and time again, every time he plays Chet, he owns him. And you can't not deny that fact. I think for Chet Holmgren, it's a balance between not acting like there's pressure there and just playing your game, but also understanding that this matchup has a lot of eyes on it. I think Chet is a guy that he likes to hoop. He doesn't really want to get into the mental games and the semantics, but you kind of have to engage with that in order to fire yourself up and realize, yo, this guy thinks he can take my chain, but I got to show him I keep that thing on me too. The issue is, though, the entire San Antonio Spurs team this whole series went at Chet, whether it was Harper, whether it was Johnson, whether it was Vassell, whether it was Castle. Nobody had any type of respect for the physicality of Chet Holmgren, and I think Isaiah Hartenstein did better at moments because he's more physical and because he's not as scared. But when you see your number 2 star and your primary front court rim protector, a guy who was all NBA defensive team this year and all NBA this year, and Chet Holmgren, who's getting a $240 million extension starting next season, that is not a good look. For the team being the Oklahoma City Thunder, when your number 2 guy is mentally checked out and fried, that leaves it up to Shai and friends to really save the day. But for the San Antonio Spurs, when you see cracks in that foundation, then you really begin to hunt them. And I think that's just what happened. You had the worst matchup possible on Chet Holmgren this entire NBA playoffs in Victor Wembanyama, and you had the mental aspect. And I'm sure Vic told everybody he's weak, he's soft, go at his heart, he has asthma. That is what Victor Wembanyama told the entire San Antonio Spurs front court and back court, and it shows up time and time again. Speaking of front court, though, Luke Cornett got possessed by LeBron James for about 12 seconds and came up with arguably the best play this entire Western Conference Finals behind that Wembanyama logo 3 bomb. This is insane, right? Luke Cornett, a guy who had a minus 37 plus minus at one point in this Western Conference Finals in non-Wemby minutes, showing up defensively in a way that we did not even know was possible. Chase down block. It would have been a 4-point game, then it was an 8-point game, and then the Spurs went on a great run after that. This is where championships are won, and this is where guys go to the championship. Luke Cornett, you didn't show up for most of the series, but when your number got called, when Wemby had 5 fouls and they needed a guy to be a defensive anchor, you came up with one of the best blocks in Western Conference Finals history in recent memory. Great stuff for Luke Cornett. Looking at the entirety of the San Antonio Spurs, though, transitioning to the winner's circle, Wemby obviously wins the Western Conference Finals MVP. We knew that was going to happen. Wemby with 22. I think I want to shout out De'Aaron Fox specifically for this game, though. De'Aaron Fox and Julian Champagnie combining for 35 points. Champagnie with 20 points. 6 of 10 from 3, 6 of 11 from the floor. They're finally falling for him, and it is at the perfect time. The worst time if you're the Oklahoma City Thunder, but in our Game 7 predictions video, we did actually say that Champagnie was long overdue for one of these games, and same thing with De'Aaron Fox, going 5 of 24 in his last 2 games for the Spurs, but going 6 of 12 for 15 points. And I think 15 points doesn't stand out a lot for De'Aaron Fox, but every bucket he hit was the perfect shot to slow down the momentum of OKC. He did it time and time again, whether it was clean drives, middies, step back threes. He did great stuff. Devin Vassell only 4-14 from the floor, but some amazing defense he played this game. And again, hitting timely shots. Stephon Castle finishing with 16 on 46. Dylan Harper, again, this kid is so cold. Clutch step back 3 on SGA, 12 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 5 of 8 from the floor, 2 of 3 from the three-point range. Keldon Johnson, again, also 2 clutch threes in that fourth quarter to start things off. 11 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 4 of 8, and 2 of 5 from 3. The San Antonio Spurs, you weathered the storm. You played well. You made adjustments. You started off really fast, going on a 27-13 run to start the game. Then the Thunder came back, led by SGA, 13 points in that second quarter, 12 points in the third quarter. But at the end of the day, there's only so much one man can do, and the San Antonio Spurs are going to the NBA Finals. With that being said, though, guys, that is going to do it for us today. Again, as always, if you enjoyed the content, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Follow us on all socials, whether it is TikTok, Spotify, YouTube, where you're watching this video, X, Threads, wherever you get your basketball content, we are there. Again, as always, if you enjoyed the content, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and we will see you all in the next one.